It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Welcome in. Hope you're feeling good today. A little chilly out there. Big Joe's here. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. I even see our reporter back there and Nick Keyser. What's up, JoJo?
What's happening, man? Could be a fun week. Not really much to look forward to, but we'll find
there.
something, right?
We're it's funny. Usually Sunday night or Monday morning, Brett Kern and I will text like, hey, what do you want to kind of get into? And I said, welcome to the dog days, my friend.
Right.
We are there, but we always have fun.
We'll find something interesting to talk about, including the Daytona 500, which just run that in the afternoon, right? I mean, I know the weather determined what happened.
Run it at night, baby.
But when they showed a cameraman on a lift, and behind him the sun going down.
Yeah,
it's one of the most beautiful TV shots I've ever seen.
Drop the green flag at like 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Yep,
and finish under the lights.
I love it.
Do it in prime time. People would watch Sunday night. I mean, that's what they need to do. I have a feeling it's going to go there at some point. I mean,
cool.
Because the other thing is the NFL is probably going to force their hand to have to move it, which stinks. But at the same time, I was thinking about it like maybe it'll be a good thing because they can't, the weather seems to always get in the way.
Football, I just mid-February. I mean, I get it. It's in like the first part of February, but mid-February to have the Super Bowl. Real quick, I know the Combine's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we could get some scouts to time Joe Rexrode, how fast he leaves here to get into his car and out of the parking lot.
I know. I needed to talk to him, and I asked Robbie, I'm like, where did Rexrode go? And there's like a cloud of dust. Like, he's already gone.
He runs like a 4.340 getting out of here. So if anybody's looking for a fourth or fifth rounder who can complain and sit on the bench, Joe Rexrode is your guy. Because, my gosh, he's got some wheels, man. He looks good doing that.
Pretty funny. But yes, William Byron, Willie B, wins his second straight Daytona 500. I don't even think he knows how that happened, but it happened.
So he becomes an iconic driver now, right?
I mean that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, right.
I mean, winning one's a big deal. Winning two, especially back to back, I think it's only happened 5 times in history. Pretty impressive.
Our boy that we had on Friday.
Ooh. Tough crash.
Yeah, right.
Tough crash. And he's NASCAR might want to, write him a waiver where he doesn't have to go to Daytona or Talladega because that's 3 pretty big wrecks, bad wrecks that he's been in. And you could certainly, if you haven't seen it, basically what happened is he got caught up in a mess that wasn't his. He got hit by Christopher Bell at a really weird angle, made the back end of the car shoot up, and at 180 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour, the wind caught it, and that 2,000-pound race car becomes a sheet of paper. Basically.
Unbelievable. But I think
floats up into the air.
I think you asked him, you don't remember, but I think you did, because sometimes I pay attention on the show about just waiting for those last 10 laps, a wreck to happen.
Yeah, right. Like it's coming. And it did. I mean, and it result. I mean, there were 2 big ones at the end that pretty much set up the race, and you took a bunch of good cars out of contention, and ended up, and that's what usually happens. I mean, at these at these type races, and I thought that Ryan Preece did say something very interesting at the end of, we've come a long way with safety. I mean, since 2001. And really, it was before that. A lot of people will say, well, Dale Earnhardt and all that. But Kenny Irwin Jr., Adam Petty, there were several others that died in racing incidents that, it unfortunately, and they had started the process of trying to make the car safer, but it got expedited when, one of the greatest of all time gets killed. And so these cars have certainly come a long way since then. Yeah. There have been close calls. There have been injuries. But, they can say that, drivers have been able to walk away from these things. But Preece did make the comment, and he goes, if it keeps going like this, like that story is going to change.
Ooh.
And, I think that That's a concern with all the drivers.
He was matter of fact when he was talking about that, like almost in a prophetic way. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. You know who also dropped 2 big ones? Harry Truman.
He did. I did not know where you were going with that.
That's from Fletch. For those out there, the most quotable
I
movie
did
of all
not
time.
know where you were going with that one at all. So Byron wins. Tyler Reddick second. How about Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, who's going to run like 3 or 4 races this year for his own team? Finished his third.
Will he have a full-time car or just
he will not? But he owns 2 full-time cars.
Okay, all right. I don't like guys who like show up and run 3 races. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, it's okay if they're with a team, and so he owns a team called Legacy Motor Club that basically took in Richard Petty, the 43. And so he owns the 43 car, which is Eric Jones, and then the 42, which is John Hunter Nemechek. And so those are the 2 full-time entries. And then the 84 of Jimmy is kind of the R&D car. And so he'll run like 3 or 4 races.
What was his number when he was like winning everything?
48. So he did the reverse because 48 is owned by Rick Hendrick, and that's Alex Bowman.
Oh, look at all that, man. All right.
But then Chase Briscoe in his first race with Joe Gibbs, Coach Gibbs, they finished 4th. John Hunter was 5th. Bowman, Blaney, Cindric, Allgaier for Dale Jr. in their first entry, 9th place finish, and then Chris Buescher rounds out the top 10.
All right, Bubba Wallace.
Bubba got caught up in some of the mess there at the end, so I don't even know where he finished. 29th.
Who came in last?
AJ Allmendinger.
Really?
Yep, he blowed up.
Like on lap 1?
He was 159 down. So
okay.
There's 200. So Elio Castroneves, who was making his first NASCAR start, 39th, did not have a great outing. So Josh Berry from Hendersonville, he got caught up in an early wreck, so he was 37th. So hated to see that.
Wow.
In the Wood Brothers entry.
Yeah. All right. So Wallace, who else iconic that would have been in there that we would have? No, Bubba. Who started on the pole?
Chase Briscoe.
All right. Well, how often does I would not want to start on the pole. How often is a guy who sits on the pole wins?
They don't.
Do you get money for starting on the pole?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I think you get points now. They've changed all this where you get points and stuff for things that you didn't used to. So I don't know.
So what's the advantageous part of being on the pole? If the odds are you're never going to win.
I'll tell you the biggest part of being on the pole is you get to select your pit stall first, and that makes all the difference in the world. Where you pit can make a huge difference. Not as much at super speedways, but especially these intermediate tracks and these short tracks. Because you could basically select the first pit box or the third pit box or whatever that you think is more advantageous for you.
Yeah.
That's the advantage.
Now you got me intrigued. What's the best pit stop? Like National Super Speedway, whatever.
One.
The first one coming in?
No, or the first one going out.
Okay. So the last one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
The last one.
Why is that?
Because you pull in, you do your pit stop, and you have a few yards to go until you hit the pit exit. And like if you're under caution, once you hit that line, you're frozen in your spot.
So is the worst one the first pit stop when you come in?
First pit box.
Stop it.
Not always. I mean, sometimes that can be viewed as an advantage because you're right there, but then you have to go. The hard part is then once you exit, you have to go all the way down pit road at pit road speed and hope that you can beat the guy in box number 1 out.
So, but when you enter pit row, and I'm fascinated by all this, you have to slow all the way down, right? To like 40 miles an hour. You can't be zimming.
Yeah, there's a pit road speed.
Okay. What is it?
It varies from track to track.
What's the National Super Speedway?
I think it's like 50.
So you're going from 160
to 45. It's probably 45.
I would not be able to do that. It's just stopping going that slow, and you've been flying around.
And in Nashville Super Speedway is a tough pit road to get into because you're coming off of 3 and you basically kind of have to, almost not quite a 90 degree, but you basically have to shoot off the banking down and slow down like you're talking about and go into pit road.
All right, Bristol.
Oh, Bristol is a
You want number one? I mean, you want the
Yeah.
last one when you pull in the
Yeah.
last one. Okay.
yeah. Well, and here's the other part. So Bristol and the short track, or Bristol and Martinsville are the two cases on this. They actually have two pit roads because they're a short track. They're half miles, and so they have pit roads on both sides.
Really?
And so if you're under green, I think it's still like this. If you're under green, you can, whatever side your pit road is on, you can kind of go in that way. If it's caution, you have to go in one way, go all the way around at pit road speed until you get to the second pit road. If you're on that, if that's where you are. And when you're exiting, you got to do the same thing. I think the rule's still that way.
Oh, okay.
So it's just whatever track you're going to.
Oh, all right. See, I learned something. I like learning new things. I had no idea. I'll take that.
Yeah. So people are enjoying our our conversation.
Well, I mean,
here.
I just there's quite. I mean, they just don't get into a car and drive 200 laps and you're done. I mean, there's a method to this madness, which fascinates me because it's all got to go correctly to win. It all has to go perfectly to win. And they'll tell you just to avoid the crashes and stay up front, right? And that the
Right.
thing, stay up front.
It's funny, like people are 9064 is mad at Joey Logano. So the Joey Logano is part of that last one of the last big ones that really took a lot of the contenders out. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna blame that on Logano. I mean, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. kind of came down and Logano had the spot. And I mean, Stenhouse has caused quite a few crashes over the years. So I put that more on Stenhouse than I do Logano.
When he dating Danica Patrick at
He
one
was. Yeah, that's true. He was. He crashed out of that too.
time? Oh, ew.
So there was that. No, I mean, Ricky's been on Chasing Checkers a few times and good guy, but he does seem to find himself in the middle of things.
Well,
So,
it happens. Look.
Yeah.
I mean, Dale Earnhardt, how many friends did he have?
Not many.
Right? It's the guy, just win. Were there teammates back in the day? Like, did Darrell Waltrip in the 80s have a teammate? I don't remember them talking about teammates.
Yes. No, not for a while, but then yes, they started adding teams. But it was real contentious for a while. But for a long time, no. A long time you had a ton of car owners and they had one car.
Right.
And then actually I think Junior Johnson was one of the first to add a second car, and that's who Darrell drove for a long time before he went to Rick Hendrick. And then Hendrick had, multiple teams. Had the 5, and then Darrell was in the 17, and then later on you had the 24 and the 48. And,
right.
They get to be these. Now they're kind of going backwards with this charter system. They're putting a cap on. You can only have 3 chartered cars. You can still have like an open car that would have to qualify every week.
Right.
But yeah,
we'll make it happen. All right. Can we do our question that we talked about yesterday?
Sure. I don't remember what it was. Go ahead.
I'm too busy. We're talking about all these. You bring up Richard Petty. I immediately go 43.
Yeah.
I asked you about Jimmy Johnson. I don't remember him 48, but I remember 43. So our question that I'd like for people to weigh in on, what's the most iconic number in sports? It could be jersey. It could be a car number. It could be the F1 car. It could be whatever. The most, and you can't say Jordan. We know 23 is iconic. But I'm telling you, for me.
Well, I mean, if that's the answer, that's the answer. I'd say you can say it.
But I'd just branch out of that.
Okay.
That's a given. Like, to me, 43, when I hear the number 43, I immediately think of Richard Petty.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I'm not the biggest racing guy. But I immediately think of Richard Petty when I see a 43.
I think it's open. It's the eye of the beholder. I mean, for me, if you say number 3, I go Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I say Dale Earnhardt, but some people might say Dale Murphy. Some people might say Babe Ruth. Some people. I mean, there's several. 3 is one of those numbers that you can tie to a lot of people.
All right, I tell you, number 21. What comes to mind first?
Deion Sanders.
Nice. Yeah, I go Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a fun little experiment to the numbers that stand out for us. But
yeah,
for me, every time Richard 40, when I see 43 and anything, Richard Petty. Okay. It could be anything.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line. driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Iconic numbers in sports, can be any sport. I'll even challenge some people to throw me a college example in there, because that's a little harder. But there are a few. I would say there are a few. 615-737-1025 is Chasing Big Joe, up and running on a Monday. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Well, how often does I would not want to start on the pole. How often does a guy who sits
No,
on the
they
pole
don't.
win? Do you get money for starting on the pole?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
That's what she said.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
Oh, Dr. Crane. Well done.
Oh my Lord, that's beautiful.
Oh, well done, Dr. Crane.
Oh man. You got to keep that just the
Yeah,
Michael Scott
no,
part around.
yeah, that's what she said.
Oh man.
That's,
I was sitting back here just dying laughing the whole first segment.
I did. You know what's funny? Like I didn't really catch it when you started replaying. I'm like, damn, that was good. There was a lot of that's what she said there. Hey, and listen, we just spent our whole life trying to keep him off the pole. So
That's right.
That's,
Sure did.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Chasing Big Joe 1025, 1063 the game. Our question of the day: iconic numbers in sports. Like, is there a specific number that when you hear, you think of one person? Can be any sport, can be pro, can be college, however you want to take this. A lot of different answers coming through on our text line and phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. If you put the number, say who it reminds you of, though. Like, Chris in Nashville said 1232. Okay, who?
can we guess? 12 would be Brady and 32 OJ.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, 12 is a hard one.
Yes.
In the NFL,
Yeah.
especially because you could say Bradshaw, you could say Namath, you could say Brady, you could say
Roger
Aaron Rodgers,
Staubach.
Yep.
So
I mean, and there's more.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Stabler.
Stabler.
Was
Yes.
12. I mean,
All right.
yeah. So I mean, there's several that you could choose from there. I think Brady's probably. I mean, if you're going to rank them, Brady's probably number one. But 16 around here is going to mean Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
At Tennessee, but that could mean a lot of other people too.
Right. It's just that they pop up like
Montana,
all right, number 19. What comes to mind?
Unitas.
Oh, nice.
It's a good pull, huh?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Steve Eiserman in
All right.
hockey.
I was Bernie Kosar at Cleveland.
Yeah.
19.
It's a good one. 22.
Doug Flutie.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say Emmett.
All right. Jordan Tutu.
Jordan Tutu around here.
Yep.
Derrick Henry.
God. The obvious sometimes
Yeah.
just smacks you right in the face.
I would say 27.
Oh, Eddie.
Yeah, around here.
Right. What's
Eddie.
another good 27?
Didn't who was the running back at Tennessee? Arian Foster. He wore 27 was it when he was
He
at
did.
Tennessee.
Yep. That's right. Good
Yeah.
one. Good pull.
That's one. 89. Wycheck around here.
Yeah. I do what comes to mind first. Like Billy Joe Dupree was a tight end that wore number 89. He
Yeah.
always comes to mind.
Didn't Ditka wear 89?
I think so.
Yeah.
Look at you, buddy. I'm proud
Thank
of you
you.
pulling these out.
A lot of people say 3 for Earnhardt. Let's see. 9306 says in Nashville 35 for Pecorine.
Okay.
That's one. Ron says 88 and 80.
Alvin Harper and Michael Irvin. Those
Yeah.
two come to mind immediately.
Lynn Swan.
Was 88. Yep.
Yeah. Dell Jr. or one was in 88. 80 Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Well done. Steve Largent was 80. I mean, this is fine because you think of these people that it's different genres, different backgrounds, different times that you watch the sports, which is kind of cool with the question. It all came off of Daytona talking about
Yeah.
the numbers, and 43 to me, Richard Petty. To me, that's one of the most, if not the most iconic number around.
4405. Let me help you out because you're confusing your beers here. He said Bill Elliott, Budweiser number 9. Well, technically Budweiser 11, but I associate Bill Elliott with the 9, and of course Chase Elliott now drives the 9. When Bill Elliott drove the 9 car, it was Coors. It was a Coors car. So he was sponsored by a beer, and then he went to Junior Johnson and was in the 11 in the Budweiser car.
Okay.
So that back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Iconic number. Oh, here's a good one. Derek in Goodlettsville, number 10 for Pele. Thinking soccer. I mean, Messi.
Is he-
Messi 10? Yeah.
Messi's 10. Jake
Yep.
Locker.
Vince Young,
Vince Young.
Vince Young, nice. That's,
Martin Erat.
Well, here's the number. When you say number 10 to me, the first person I say is Larry Wayne Jones Jr., better known as Chipper.
Oh, okay.
So 9926 said 10 for Chipper, 25 for Andrew, the Jones boys.
Yeah. I forgot Chipper wore 10. I
He did.
completely forgot.
Patrick says, love this question because for me as a huge hockey fan, it is number 4 for Bobby Orr. Whenever I see 4, I think of him even more than 99.
Oh, that's crazy. The Bobby Orr love is, for those from up the north part of it, is just amazing.
Mhm.
Like, we'll ask Hal Gill about that. I mean, for guys that played hockey up north.
But I mean, there are some that like transcend it. Like if I say number 99, who's the first?
I go to Warren Sapp hit me first.
Okay. Most people are going to say Gretzky.
Okay.
I mean, like that's probably the best.
Yeah.
99 of any sport. 66. Greg said 66 for Mario.
Yeah.
Not Mario.
Okay.
Mario Lemieux.
Yeah. When you get the 60s and some of the 50s, a lot of NFL numbers don't pop up.
You know what's funny? In kind of a secondary question to this question, that like the most iconic, all you got to do is say one name, like Kobe. Like if you say 8 or 24, people are gonna go, oh, Kobe, because they're not. You don't have to say Kobe Bryant. You just say Kobe because they just became that iconic that all you had to do is say their first or last name. Gretzky, Mario,
Right.
like, and people know who you're talking about.
What about 38?
I don't really know.
Me neither. And I love all these sports.
Ricky said 34 for Barkley.
Barkley's a good one. 34 is a lot. Walter Payton, Barkley, all these are iconic ones.
Vern Fiddler, 38.
That's a good one.
I'll take.
We love
Fiddler.
Vern.
I'll take Vern Fiddler every time.
Nevada Josh says he's got a few here. 8 for Kobe, number 8 Kobe Bryant, 20 Barry Sanders, 22 Emmitt Smith, LSU number 18, and Alabama's number 12.
Well, 12 could be
12 could be a
Namath,
lot of people. McElroy.
Stabler.
McElroy was he 14? I don't
was he?
remember. Yeah.
What's the LSU one?
18?
Was that Burrow? What number? No, he was
9.
He was 9. Okay, 18. Burt Jones? I don't know.
I don't know on the 18. Let's see. The great one, 99. Jeff from Tennessee says 23 for Jordan. 9329. Most iconic number is 5 for Hope Hines.
Hello, everybody. Hope Hines.
5169 said 23 for Jordan, 7 for Cristiano Ronaldo.
I had no idea he wore that.
See,
number.
if you
Okay.
say 7 to me, I say Mickey Mantle.
I'm going pops in my mind for 7. I go Elway.
All right, let's. I'm just gonna try something. 1.
Oh God.
Warren
Hold on. Cam Newton.
Ozzie Smith.
Okay.
All right.
2.
Derek Jeter.
That.
That's what I was thinking. Derek Jeter.
Yep. 3. Earnhardt.
Earnhardt. Yeah.
Giorgio Chiellini.
Who?
Soccer player. He's a
Okay.
defenseman. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
4.
Brett Favre.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Wasn't a Lou Gehrig 4?
I don't remember. He's the luckiest man
Yeah.
on the face.
5.
Don't hate me. Kerry Collins.
Albert Pujols.
DiMaggio. 6.
Oh God. What comes to mind immediately is Jay Cutler.
Stan the Man Musial.
Bobby Cox.
Thank you. Both those are much better than Jay Cutler.
7.
Elway.
Mantle.
Ronaldo. Yeah.
8.
8's a gosh. Was Matt Ryan 8?
No.
Okay. 8. I come back to.
He was 2.
Okay, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'll
I
take
mean-
Marcus. Yeah.
Dale,
Yeah. All right.
Dale Jr.
Dale Jr.
9.
McNair.
Around here, McNair, for sure.
Say what comes to mind
Drew
first?
Brees.
Drew Brees.
Could be one. 10 could be a lot of people. Messi. Chipper.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one?
I had Jake Locker.
Okay.
Don't hate me for these. And to finish out the segment for Sean Henry, number 11, Phil Simms.
Okay.
Rusty Smith. Come on, man.
Rusty. Yeah, that's a good one.
You got 11.
Yeah, the old Junior Johnson number 11. So Daryl Waltrip, Bill Elliott. I'll go with one of those.
So
guys.
Waltrip was an 80. What was Waltrip?
Waltrip had several numbers.
Okay.
He was 88. He was 11. He was 17.
When he won Daytona, what was he?
17
For both times? No, he won once, right?
once.
Okay.
89.
What was Sterling and he won both times?
4.
Both years?
Yep.
Okay.
He won back. He's one that won back to back.
Love it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Morgan McClure, the Kodak car. We did that one day where I named all the
You did. You went through all these guys.
615-737-1025. I mean, Kobe at 8-2 would be obviously a good one. Somebody said 10, Brady Quinn at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, there is no wrong answer. It's just numbers that hit you when you think about them. They come right. You know, my brother told me all the time. He's like, always get an odd number. People remember odd numbers better than even numbers. So I was
Yogi was 4.
I was always 75. So always odd numbers.
Yogi Berra was 4.
Was he?
Yeah.
When I think 75, what do you think of?
Hal Gill.
Is he 75?
Yeah.
What about you, Dr. Crane?
I don't know.
Howie Long, baby.
Oh,
75.
What about 51?
Butkus.
Randy Johnson.
Brian Urlacher? No.
He was 54.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie McGee. Sorry.
Willie McGee. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great because these numbers I mean, they stick with us throughout our lives.
I got a good one for you. 00.
Oh man. I'm gonna go with you tilting your head like JD Vance. What
Nope.
look is this you're giving
Jim
me?
Otto.
That's what I was going with. Right. Couldn't remember
Yeah.
his name. For the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
Jim Otto,
Yeah.
00.
Yep.
Yes. It's a great number.
615-737-1025. That is our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. 5724 says, can't believe you didn't put Warren Moon at number 1. You weren't listening because I said Warren
You
Moon.
did. I had
So-
Cam Newton. So yeah, you did say number 1.
I said Warren at, with number 1. We'll continue to take your calls and texts on iconic numbers in sports. 615-737-1025. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 the game. We're broadcasting. Speaking of iconic numbers, we're broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. And the Chase and Big Joe Show, of course, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. These texts are great, iconic numbers in sports, and there's been a couple of you that have texted in 00 for Buckshot Jones. If you remember 90s NASCAR, Buckshot Jones drove the 00, and even into the 2000s, I think that's a fantastic one.
Was he a terrible driver? I don't remember him.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
I need to look him up right quick.
He might have won some Xfinity stuff, or I don't know. I mean, he was like, he's been on the Dale Jr. download before. I mean, he obviously knew all those guys, but Buckshot Jones, what a name.
He's 54 years old.
Yeah. Let's see. 7771 says Columbia, Tennessee's very own, the yellow Kodak number 4 of Sterling Marlin.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, absolutely.
Also said 6 for Shea Weber, 8 for Troy Aikman, Peter Forsberg, number 21, 6805. Was Alkaline? Is that
Alkaline?
Alkaline?
Yeah.
Number 6.
I guess. I don't
Yeah, I don't know
school.
that. 14, Pete Rose. That's a good one.
Yep.
Is that the first person that comes to mind when you think 14?
It is. And also Ken Anderson, former Bengals quarterback. It's
No,
just
that's
crazy what
random.
pops at the top of my mind.
By the way, people are correcting me. Thank you. Yogi was 8. Lou Gehrig was 4. So
Okay.
I was right on that. 42 for Jackie Robinson.
42, Jackie
It's a good one.
Robinson. Yeah.
Greg A. Number 2, Rusty Wallace. He was my reason for getting into NASCAR. That's a good one.
Is there a 15 that comes to mind?
Yeah. Tim Tebow.
Jim Edmonds.
Jim Edmonds. It's a good one.
Yes. I can't think of a 15 to my mind right now.
Mikey Waltrip when he won the Daytona 500. But yeah, I mean, to me, like as soon as you say 15, I go Tim Tebow.
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
Iconic.
That's
in
right.
Starkville.
And
I
Mississippi State,
cannot
yeah.
come up with a 15. And I'm not thinking of a quarterback who had. like, see him
Okay,
throwing.
what's like the most iconic college football number that like you immediately think of one person?
34. I think of 2 people, Bo
Oh.
Jackson and Herschel.
Okay.
I go right to those 2.
And in basketball, Chuck.
I Will Purdue stands at number 32 at Vanderbilt. Just right in
Yeah.
my mind.
33.
Pippen.
Pippen.
Yeah. Tony Dorsett.
Yep.
Those are ones. When there was Colin Wilson 33.
He was.
Okay.
Victor Arvidsson was 33 later.
All right.
Well, people are yelling at you for 15.
Who am I leaving out?
There's a pretty big one you're leaving out.
Who? Yeah.
A pretty big one.
Tell me.
Currently,
15 currently?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. Good Lord. Why is the obvious always right? Like,
Well, here's one too that you'll beat yourself up for. Bud says Bart Starr. There you go.
there you go. What does Gus Fring say in Breaking Bad? You know, I hide in plain sight. And then these are all plain sight, and I can't figure them out. Oh, the Bart Starr is going to kill me, man.
Will says for college, Reggie Bush, number 5, Mike Williams, number 1, both at USC.
Oh, yeah. I guess you kind of favor what team.
Yeah.
Like, for me, 8 at Tennessee, Andy Kelly.
See, now I've just had mine. 33 is an easy one too.
I don't know.
Larry Bird.
Right?
Thank you.
These are some numbers.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, 1937. 15, the Joker, Nikola Jokic. This is a good 0989. Do you think 16 or 18 when you're talking about Peyton Manning?
I go 16. I always
Yeah.
default back to college.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
me.
around here, he's no like had he played for the Titans, I think he would have worn 16.
Yeah. Which he's probably thankful he never did.
Yeah.
But I think outside the state of Tennessee, it's 18.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is.
Right.
Now, 17's one, which comes to mind immediately. We think of 17.
T. Martin.
That's a great one. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah.
Tannehill.
Yeah.
17. 17 is not a number that's like, yeah. It looks like a heavy number. You know, it's
Yeah.
weird on New Jersey, like it's a heavy number.
See, that's the funny thing. Like for quarterbacks, I think. Oh, he's doing his update. Phone's ringing. But for quarterbacks, like I like single digits. I mean, I know there's some double digits that are good, but like you mentioned 22, for Doug Flutie,
Yeah.
right? That's such a weird quarterback number.
And I still don't know how that got approved.
Well,
Like-
it in college you can wear whatever you want.
Well, you can't. You can't be 33 and be quarterback.
I think you
A
can.
designated quarterback.
I think you can. Used to be able to.
I mean, there was like in the 60s and 50s, quarterbacks had number like 62 or
Yeah.
68. Like 21.
I always love it when a kicker is like 43 or 47
Yeah.
or something like that.
There's
Some
one. It's
random
not,
number.
what was the guy from Jordan 95? Rodriguez or Rodrigo?
99. Hot Rod.
99. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Rodrigo Blankenship.
All right. When I say 20 quarterback, what number comes to mind?
I knew you were going to do that.
Now, 21 T. Schuler.
Yeah. 20 quarterback. Yeah, tell me.
Was it Bernie Kosar at Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew it was somebody like
Then
that.
he dropped to 19 for the Cowboys.
I mean, Barry Sanders now.
Yeah.
Is 20. Huffy and Dixon says 11. Mark Messier. It's a good one.
See, I never followed hockey, so those numbers, I like this.
Doug Williams was 17.
Doug Williams, Super Bowl champion Doug Williams.
Alex Ovechkin for 8, the grade 8. 28, Darryl Green.
From the Redskins, played
Yep.
forever.
Number 6, Dr. J, Julius
Oh,
Erving.
how we missed that one.
So good. Philip Rivers also wore 17.
Totally forgot about Philly. He probably listened to the show. He's only an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us.
Bud said 66, Ray Nitschke.
Ray Nitschke.
It's a good one. This past year, Ohio State's backup quarterback wore number 33.
How?
According to 9926.
I believe it.
Yeah, there was a guy at Michigan that wore 98. a few years ago.
Denard Robinson.
Yeah. Number 7, Michael Vick. Nevada Josh also says 102.5 reminds me of you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yes.
Appreciate it. We'll get to the phones. Dylan, Bryce, hang tight. We'll do more of this. But you guys have just run with this topic. So we will do that. Coming up next, Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe 1025, 1063 the game. Good job, Dr. Crane, playing the number songs. Well done. Number 13.
Begins and ends with one man, baby. Dan Marino.
Yep. We haven't said him yet. Joey from Gallatin said Dan Marino.
Dan Marino. Yeah, because for look, you'll go back through history. Nobody wore 13 because the negative connotation of that. Nobody wore 13 really in large numbers. And now it's
because what was interesting is remember when they drafted Tua, he was 13 at Alabama. And so the question was, what number was he going to wear with the Dolphins? Because he couldn't wear 13.
Right.
And he ultimately went with 1. I don't like when quarterbacks wear 1. And I think it's because Warren Moon was so iconic.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
I mean, Cam did it. Jalen Hurts is, well, I guess he's 1, isn't he? Yeah. He's number 1.
I didn't even know. I didn't even
Marcus Mariota wore 1 when he was with Atlanta.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. Because 8, I think 8 was already taken. So
all right. Do you know why 13 is such an unlucky number?
I do not.
That was the number of the people at the Last Supper.
Okay.
That's why.
I mean, there's hotels that don't even have a 13th floor.
That's correct. Yep. And they didn't Taylor Swift's favorite number like 13?
Yeah.
So
it is. Justin and Greenbrier. Number 6, Mark Martin. Number 94, Bill Elliott. Number 10, Dave Blaney when he raced World of Outlaws.
Mark Martin is interesting to me because I interviewed him one time and I had no idea he was that tiny. It's like I was talking. It's like I was talking to Justin Beasley. It's like 5'2".
I'm going to leave that one alone. Let's go to Dylan on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, guys. I think Odell Beckham wore 13, too, for the Giants.
He did. That's true.
Yeah.
He did.
I was actually just going to ask, do you guys know any 40s? 4-0?
I think of Sterling Marlin with the Coors Light car.
I don't.
Pat Tillman.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. Really good.
Retired Cardinals. And then for college numbers, as an Oregon fan turned to Vols because of my wife, even though I'm from here, I think a Derrick Henry number 2 for Alabama. Just a running back with a number 2 is just kind of weird to me. But and then there was I don't know if you guys remember on the longest yard, wasn't there a player that wore X?
Yes.
It wasn't even a number, he just wore the letter X.
Right.
Yeah, it was Bill Goldberg's character.
I want each NFL team to have an X on the team, but he doesn't play. He just sits on the sidelines and does nothing.
Awesome.
That was my thing, just 40. I just wanted to see if you guys knew any 40s other than Pat Tillman. That's the only one I could think of. So,
yeah, that's a good one. Thanks for the call, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Yes.
In the NFL Hall of Fame, 40 Hall of Famers with the number, not 40, but number 40, Elroy Hirsch, Gale Sayers, and Charlie Joyner.
Oh, those are good ones. Gale Sayers.
And Mike Haynes from the Raiders.
I'm trying to think of any others that like stand out. I don't know of any. 30, let's see. Josh from Columbia. 34 is the best and most memorable number across all sports. Think about the commercials for always had an unathletic person, but they have the number 34 on.
I will let you know that there is not a number 69 in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I'm glad you looked that up.
I'm going down the numbers here. There's no
Richie Incognito's one that, and he's pissed at Adam Schefter.
He's not getting the Hall of Fame.
But I mean, I'm just trying to think of guys that wore 69. Wasn't he?
Zach Pillar?
Jared
Allen. Wait.
Yeah, Jared Allen.
So he'll be it.
Yeah, maybe. He could be the first one.
Officially inducted in there if he goes with that number.
It's a good one. Here's a good one. Ricky, if you're listening, 7134. Dave Concepcion, number 13. The Cincinnati Reds, part of the Big Red Machine.
That's right. I could name. I'm trying to.
What was bench? Bench was 5. Pete was 14. What was that? Griffey Sr. was 3, I think.
I don't remember. George Foster had a large number. He was in Cesar Geronimo.
I think King Griffey was 3 because Junior switched to 3. Or no. That's not right. 33 maybe. Junior switched to 3 for his kids, but I think he originally wore his dad's number. 30. It was 30.
30. Okay.
Yeah, 30. See, I got there. I figured it out.
You didn't get there. There's also no number 90 in the Hall of Fame. So 69 and 90 are not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Kevin says, Chase, you said you don't know a 40. Bill Bates from Dallas.
Oh,
Kevin in
yeah.
Florida. That's a good one. 45. What do you think of when you hear 45?
My sweet mate in junior college was 45. I always go to him.
I mean, Jordan, I know, wore it in baseball, and then when he came back.
NFL Hall of Famer Kenny Easley for the Seahawks wore number 45.
Ahmad Hall.
Ahmad Hall.
Ahmad Hall. There you go. Sarge.
How do you
Yeah.
remember that?
That's a good
It
one.
just when I started playing football, that was the number I wanted to wear. He
Okay.
served for the military. I was like, this guy went overseas, served for the United States of America, came back and played football. I was like, that's the number I want to wear.
Good
Chris,
one.
Chris said Foster was 15. Joe Morgan was 8.
50. Okay.
So
Foster-
13, 14, 15.
Where you outfield.
And then 8, 5.
Didn't Foster hit 50? I think I'm getting confused. He hit 50 plus home runs one of those years.
Greg I said, did anyone say 88 for Michael Irvin? Yes, but don't forget. So 88 is like the iconic receiver number for the Cowboys. Drew Pearson had it first,
Yep. Hall of Fame.
then Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant, and now CeeDee Lamb.
Here are the 88s. Tony Gonzalez, Marvin Harrison, Michael Irvin, Alan Page, Drew
Good.
Pearson, Charlie Sanders, Lynn Swan, Isaac Bruce, Chris Carter, and Duke Slater all wore at number 88 on the Hall of Fame.
Chris Carter wore 88.
Sure did. According to this,
Where?
didn't he wear it with the Vikings?
I thought he was 80.
Then he wore it with the Eagles in. Is that he went in with number? Yep.
I thought he was like number 80.
80, they got, I guess you can do switch too here. 80, they got Isaac Bruce, Chris Carter,
He was
Steve Largent.
wow.
Lofton.
You'll never get this.
Okay.
So he was 80 with the Eagles and the Vikings, and then his last team in 2002, he wore 88.
The Dolphins.
Yeah. I never would have gotten that.
Really?
Yep.
I know he played with the Dolphins on the number though. So I guess you can go multiple numbers when you get
Yeah. I
inducted.
mean, because, yeah, if you wore multiple.
Okay.
numbers.
All right.
This is the perfect segue into Brett Kern. Bryce wants to say something to Brett Kern. Bryce, what's up?
I'll make this real quick. I just want to wish the great number 6 Brett Kern a very happy birthday. Today is his birthday.
Awesome.
How do you know that?
I'm his son.
Are you? Wait, what? No, you're not. Okay. Thanks.
right.
Thank you, Bryce.
Anytime.
Was that really his son?
No. He'd call him dad. He'd say my dad's
Did I
birthday.
did we just fall? I don't know. I don't know Brett's son's name.
Was that Rex Road trolling us? I deserve this.
We will find out very soon. Brett Kern going to join us coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe 1025 1063 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Monday. We've had a lot of fun with numbers, and we bring in number 6, the birthday boy, former Titans punter Brett Kern, whose son just called in, and I was fooled on that. But
That's right.
thanks to Bryce for calling in and wishing his dad a happy birthday.
Yeah, it's 15-year-olds and their cell phone. You can sneak off to a room in the house and call them the radio station and tell their dad happy birthday. So,
I was confused because I was like, should they be in school? But then I forgot about that it's President's Day, so I guess he has the day off.
yeah, no school. So they'll all come to the grocery store and we'll gear up for this next snowpocalypse coming. So eggs, bread, you name it, milk.
You got to get that stuff. Got to get the essentials. But happy birthday, Brett.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we're now in that, as we were texting earlier, the dog days of sports talk radio, as we kind of have that period in between the Super Bowl and the draft, the combines coming up. But I know you've kind of been doing some research on, free agency, and a lot of people are kind of looking at, all right, the Titans were big spenders last year. They were active in free agency. It didn't really work out. Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker have said, we're going to build through the draft. That's the best way to do it. You look at teams that have had success, and they've kind of done that. And, I feel like that's the path the Titans should go. But there are some positions that they certainly could address in free agency. And I look at a guy like Trey Smith as being one of those guys that they could bring in on the offensive line, but he's probably going to cost you like $20 million. So you've done a little research on this about kind of what happens when guys get that big contract.
Yeah, it's tough just because I think not everybody's built like a Derek or Saquon or some of these guys that, once they receive contract and it's generational type money, right, they keep grinding because the grind in the NFL, it's mental, it's physical, it's emotional. And when you get that big payday and that you're set, generationally for yourself, for your kids, for their kids, right? You tend to kind of maybe not grind as much. And, when you're getting paid, maybe like a top 5 receiver, top 10 or top 5 running back, right? All of a sudden, all it takes is just a little bit of slip in your production. And then now you're not of that value, right? And so, paying guys, you look at the Titans, right? Between Snead, Wouzier, Cushenberry, 20% of the cap, they just divvied out to 3 guys, and they were only to play in 21 out of the 51 games last season, right? And that's tough, right? You compared it to, somebody that comes in, on a smaller deal, right? I was, Kyle Van Noy, a 2-year deal. He got 12.5 sacks, 4th in the league, right? A Gesicki, 1 year, 3.5, and he's top 10 in catches. Even our old guy, Jonnu Smith, right? 4th in receptions with 88 and 8 touchdowns. And he's only on a 2-year, like $8 million deal. Zach Ertz was on a 1-year, $5 million deal and finished top 10. You look at depth pieces, Derek Barnett, down in Houston, somebody like that who's on a 1-year, $2 million deal. So you look at those kind of signings, it's not obviously generational money, but those guys are still trying to grind for the next one, right? And maybe the next contract after that. And so, you look at some of the smaller deals that came in, Delaney Walker, Ben Jones, I remember Kevin Mawai when I got here, it was that offensive line.
Yeah.
Leroy Harris was a 4th round pick. How can you find your Michael Roos, right? A 2nd round pick, 41st overall, 10-year career, 148 games, 148 starts, right? You never had to worry about him, right? Your Dave Stewart, your Big Country, your 4th round pick, Eugene Amato, your 7th round pick, right? And that offensive line, right? You have 4 guys that were drafted here by the Titans. You bring in a piece like Kevin Mawai, right, who's a Hall of Famer, and then all of a sudden now you're top, 5 in the league rushing 3-4 years in a row, and CJ rushes for 2,000 yards, right? And so I think when you're in a situation the Titans are in, right, you have some holes, some depth that you got to fill, right? Drafting becomes a huge priority. How do you go get your Amon-Ra, that was a 4th round pick, your Puka Nacua, 5th round pick? Then even after that, in your undrafted free agent guys, how do you go get a Reed Blankenship, right, out of MTSU, who's now a starting safety in the Super Bowl, right? And so, if you look at like Philadelphia right now, they have a lot of pieces that are already there, right? So Milton Williams, right, he's behind Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, right? They have their front line. Josh Sweat, obviously he's probably going to hit free agency. They have $24 million of cap space, right? But Milton, 7th round pick, right? He's going to go get paid, but you know that, hey, you know what? We can replace him through the draft. I think they actually they drafted somebody in the 6th, 7th round last year, kind of for that idea, knowing that this is going to happen. But in the Titans situation, you have a lot of holes. So now your drafting becomes really, really important, right? Whether you want to take the first pick or whether you want to trade, right? You try to go the Lions route, in trading, obviously the whole Stafford, Jared Goff trade, but you look at, the Lions able to get Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, right? Those guys are obviously huge impact players. Even what the Titans did back in 2016 with the Rams, right? You trade, you go get Jack Conklin, who's obviously still playing in the league. He actually might be a free agent this year. I'm not 100% sure. But then obviously now you get that extra 2nd round pick, and who do you get? Derrick Henry, right? And so, your free agency, how can you get the Zach Bond all-pro on a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, right?
Right.
Because all pro guys don't fall off trees. Like you look at there's 6 guys that are all pro that are still on rookie deals, right? And so you're not necessarily going to go out and find some guy, pay him a ton of money. They're a free agent for a reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's Kansas City, and they have $5.8 million of cap space. Like, how do you pay for Bolton? How do you pay for Smith? How do you pay for Justin Reed, Hollywood Brown? Like, those guys are free agents. You can't keep them all, right? So that's understandable that, hey, we're kind of backed up to this cap space. We can't sign these guys, right? Other times, you got, like, you look at the wide receiver class coming out. Diggs, coming off a torn ACL, made $22 million, right? Amari Cooper making $20 million. Keenan Allen, he was making $20 million in Chicago. He's about to be 33 years old. Chris Godwin, $20 million. Injuries. Brandon Cooks, $20 million, right? And so those guys are all going to be available, but why are they available? Well, probably mainly because of injury, and then also, does their production match what they're going to make, right? You could say that about Cooper Kupp.
Right.
The last time he played a full season was 2021, right? And he's set to be a $30 million cap hit this year, and his contract doesn't expire until 2027, right? So there's guys that they're free agents for a reason. You just have to navigate what that is and why, right? And then everything that the Titans do from here on out, like, it has to be that diamond in the rough type in order to get better faster, right? And so it's tough because not every draft pick hits, right? And not every free agency hits, right? But I think with enough guys in the room, they're going to be able to kind of, funnel it down into picking the right guys.
I'm with you 100%. By the way, how old are you today? 26?
I got 1 year left, and then I'm 40. I'm 39.
It's all downhill after that. I love what you've compiled. It's fascinating. And also, but look, I know we're covering Reed Blankenship at MTSU, and to think that he would get to this level, I never thought he would. I thought he'd get cut day one of the Eagles. Shows you what I know. So in all this, it's truly better to be lucky than good when you're drafting these players or signing these free agents, because you just never know, right? I mean, you did not know Reed Blankenship would do what he's doing now in the National Football League. So the Eagles got lucky, and that's the thing. I think luck, Brett, has to play into a lot of this.
Well, I just think it depends on who's on your team as well, right? Like, I remember when I was in Denver, my rookie year, I walk in the locker room and it's Champ Bailey, John Lynch, right? And then the next year, my second year, it was Brian Dawkins came in the locker room. Like, I mean, you're talking some guys that, those are the guys that you're around in the locker room, right? And so, you bring somebody in, and it depends on your coaches too, right? Who can, when Reed goes to Philadelphia, like, who's the secondary coach that's teaching him the ins and outs of the defense that they're running, right? And you never know too. I mean, sometimes there's guys that are like, they're pretty good in college, they're okay, and they get to the NFL and it clicks for them, right? They're in the right system, they're in the right place. They got maybe older players that are really helping them out. They can learn quick, they can process quick. And then you got other guys that they're great in college, and all of a sudden they go to the NFL and like, whoa, this is fast, this is quick. I can't process it as quick as I thought I could. It's faster than college, right? And so sometimes, when you get to the pros, and you're thinking, oh, that guy will never make it. That guy will, you got a guy that's, he might be a linebacker, and he plays linebacker for 3-4 years, and then playing on special teams, and bam, all of a sudden, like a Zaire Franklin, right? and in Indy. I remember him. He was linebacker, small school, played special teams. Special teams was filling at linebacker. And then all of a sudden, now he's making, $12, $13 million a year as a linebacker, and he leads the league in tackles, right? So sometimes it might take time, right? They might play special teams for 2-3 years, and then bam, like here they are. They're playing. They get it. They're developed. They've seen the system for 2-3 years, and now they go out and play and they roll.
Brett Kern is with us, former Titans punter, and Brett, really good stuff. I mean, I it's funny when you were when we were talking about the free agency stuff, I just could hear Floyd Reese's voice, when saying like, hey, go sign this guard in free agency. I can hear him going like, nah, I'll get it later. I'll get it later in the draft. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it feels.
Yeah. I mean, that's, it's like, how do you get your Jarrell Casey in the 3rd round, right? Jason McCourty was a 6th round pick, Cortland Finnegan, 7th round pick, right? Like they're there. It's just the hard part is, I think the success rate of the draft is so difficult, right? Like, how do you go out there and the Titans are in a position where, let's say you get 7 picks, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks, right? Like you have to be clipping at, an 80% success rate of guys that can come in and make, impact, because it's clearly not proven to where, free agents come in. It's like, oh, we could fill all these holes if we spend $100 million or $200 million, whatever. Like that's not safe, right? That's not something you can always guarantee on.
Well, what do you say to the guys that, the Chargers, I think, had 3 or 4 ex-Titans on their team that were starting today? I mean, guys that you had here that did you not give them time to develop, or did you see all you needed to see and move on? Now, don't put Malik Willis in there because I still think that's a good trade for the Titans, but other guys that were here and move on, it's kind of like, oh, man, why can't you do this here?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are up too, right? I think it's Elijah Molden, Christian Fulton, like those guys are up too. So, like, I'd be curious to see, like, do the Chargers bring him back? Do they go somewhere else? You look at Jonnu, like Jonnu did well here, and then he went to New England. Obviously the production that he was producing didn't match what he was getting, right? So then he goes somewhere else, and now he's in Miami, and you're like, whoa, okay, you just had 88 catches, 8 touchdowns,
right?
And you're 4th in the league in receptions, but like, is that a part of the system, right? And so I think a lot of times it's just a matter of, as a player being in the right place with the right system, the right coaches, maybe it's the right quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot that kind of needs to come together and mesh and flow. And, there's a lot, I mean, you could say, well, how come Jonnu didn't do this here, right? How come, I don't know. Like, was Jonnu, at the line chipping half the time, so he couldn't get out in routes? Like, I don't know. Miami, are they running a lot of quick game, right? You got Jalen Waddle you have to cover. You have Tyreek Hill you have to cover. So does that free up Jonnu? You know what I'm saying? There's so many questions that, you could sit here and you could talk on 1 or 2 players for your whole show for 2 hours and just figure out, why did he do it this year? Why couldn't he do it with the Titans,
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I was going to ask you about this. So last week on the George Plaster show, which is on 94.9 The Fan, Steve Watterson was on, and he was telling I know you know him for sure. He was telling a story that I don't know if you remember about when Cortland Finnegan filled up his entire office with packing peanuts, and Watterson got like the cleaning guy basically got it cleaned up before anybody got there, so everybody thought Cortland was telling a fib.
That's funny. I've heard some funny ones. I heard way back Coach Lowry took some dirty diapers from his kids when they were younger and put them in Coach Fisher's trunk in the middle of training camp. So trust me, there's you can pull the spark plug out of the rookie's car, and then that way you have to have the tow truck come and all that. I mean, there's plenty of things to do prank wise, but yeah, that's I did hear about that one. I didn't see it, but I did hear about it. So I'm not going to confirm or deny if it was a fib, but yes, I have heard about that.
Did you, when you were in the Pro Bowl, did you give out your room number? Isn't that a big no-no? Because they charge stuff to your room?
Well, yeah, but I think, I'm probably the last person, at the Pro Bowl. Like, there's a lot of guys there that were, making a lot more money and all that kind of stuff. And so maybe that should have been a good idea on my part to go find Ben Roethlisberger's room number,
right?
Or somebody like that. So yeah, that's definitely a no on the room number.
Oh, that's too funny. Brett, happy birthday. Thanks as always for doing this, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Brett Kern, the birthday boy, joining us here on the program. Always appreciate his time. And I look, I think he makes some really interesting points, and, working with the GM as long as we did, those are definitely some things that stand out about not overspending. I still like the idea of Trey Smith, but are you going to get the same Trey Smith that Kansas City has had?
What do we always say? Look, it's hard. We say it all the time. It's hard to play tough when you sleep on silk sheets every night.
Yeah.
And you can't blame the guys
No,
for
I
getting
don't
paid. I don't blame them at all. But if you're expecting the same kind of output once they've signed a massive contract, you're delusional. And I'll default back to Chris Johnson in 2011. He ran scared. He didn't care after he got his contract. And I'll argue that to his face. 8, 9, and 10 were great years for him. Once he got paid, he was a shell of himself. So that's what happens.
615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonKennyHonda.com. We'll have more here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Appreciate Brett Kern for joining us on his birthday. Always good. Did I see some news about our fair city there, JoJo?
Yes, the 2030 Special Olympics are coming to Nashville, according to a news release I just saw from Channel 5 a moments ago. Special Olympics Tennessee announces bid to host the 20. It announces the bid. So did they get the bid or they announced the bid?
I think they're announcing the bid because
Okay.
I know that
You're right.
they had reached out and I wrote a letter of recommendation and these
Okay.
things, and so it's really cool. Justin Bradford, who's of course a friend of the show and was part of Penalty Box Radio for a long time covering the Predators, is now with the Special Olympics. We've done shows out at golf tournaments.
Yeah.
And obviously a great organization. So they're bidding to get it
I thought they
in
already
2030.
bidded on that a while ago. It shows you what I know, which is nothing. The bid is awarded. Nashville will welcome more than 4,000 athletes from across the country, compete in over 17 sports, thousands of volunteers as well. It'll be the largest inclusive event ever held in the city of Nashville. It takes place, like I said, Adam Gurmek. This will be the first sporting event of its kind to be in our city. Take place in June of 2030. And you think about, oh, that's 5 years from now. 5 years ago was COVID.
Yeah, I know.
So time flies. Let's hope they get that. We've worked with some of these Special Olympics kids throughout the years and the flag football, and they're just beautiful, wonderful. They have so much fun doing that. So hopefully we get it, man.
By the way, speaking of bids, I did see Mike Organ put this out there, and I think it was a report from the Sports Business Journal. But unfortunately, it's looking like Cleveland is going to get the next WNBA franchise, as Nashville had bid with the Summit to bring them in to start playing in 2028. It looks like that could go to Cleveland, as the WNBA will expand to 13 teams this season with the addition of the Golden State Valkyries, and then to 15 in 2026 with the addition of teams in Toronto and Portland. I would say if all this is true, if Cleveland does get this bid, I don't think that Governor Haslam and his group will just go away. So I mean, I think the WNBA, women's basketball, women's sports is on the rise. And so I have a feeling that, this will happen eventually, if I just had to guess.
What's next? I mean, we've covered all of them, right? I mean, that's next big sporting thing. I mean, league wise, I mean, that would be the WNBA for us here in Nashville. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I mean,
quit until they say
no,
go away.
Yeah, no, I think you keep it up, especially like shout out to Michaela Blakes from Vanderbilt putting up 55 points against Auburn, which is a Division I freshman record with 55 points. She put 53 up earlier in the year.
She beat her own record.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and now 50. Well, I don't know. I think the record was 54. But she put up 53. Elena Del Don had 54 points as a redshirt freshman in Delaware in 2010.
Here comes the boxing one the rest of the year. That's the only defense I could know in basketball. Like you guard him and play a zone, or guard her and play a zone.
But shout out to Michaela Blakes from Vandy for 55 points in the 98-88 overtime victory over Auburn. Wow.
Good.
Yesterday. So our man Jake Lyman on the call had a fun one. Look, both the men's and women's Vanderbilt basketball team have just certainly been fun to watch this year and have had a turn. I watched the Vandy men take on Tennessee on Saturday. That was a really good game. Tennessee squeaked it out, but eked it out, I guess would be the right way to say it.
I wonder what Barnes told those guys at halftime, because Vandy was out playing them.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, Tennessee came out on a tear.
But my thing on real quick, just a little quick thing, is Vandy has to learn how to finish. I mean, they're playing great in the first half. They'll even start off the second half, and then things kind of get away from them, towards the end of the game. I think a lot of that has to do with depth and size, which Mark Byington obviously will continue to work on. But I mean, that's going to be the big thing, is just finishing.
Isn't that Vanderbilt's thing throughout the years?
Yeah.
Is finishing.
But they got, I mean, they at least got something to build on. I mean,
Right.
You think about the last 5 years,
Oh,
And look, I liked Jerry Stackhouse, but the thing about the last 5 years, it just wasn't good.
there was talent there too, which was something else too. Ziegler, I love the fact that Ziegler's doing so well because it shows you that basketball is still run by guards.
Oh yeah,
You can have all the centers and forwards in the world,
that boy good.
but you
He's
got
really
good.
good.
He's an All-American, hands
Yeah.
down, no doubt.
Well,
Love the
and what's
story.
funny is, and again, I say this not taking any accomplishment away from Vanderbilt when they beat them here.
Mhm.
But the big story was they got Ziegler in foul trouble. You take him off the court, it's a game changer for Tennessee.
Absolutely, it is.
And look, I think Tennessee's a good team, but they got to clean some stuff up before tournament time. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about an early exit again with Rick Barnes in that group. 615-737-1025. We'll continue the discussion. I do want to hit something on the hockey side because I want to ask you and everybody else a question about the Four Nations tournament, because I think we were all a little skeptical, and I think we've all been proven wrong because Saturday night was pretty awesome. We will discuss that coming up next. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Here we go. You ready? Hit it. America gets the win Saturday night against Canada on the ice. Freebird was blaring from this side of the country to the other. Very, very good. Did you guys see that video that I sent you of it was the dude getting ready? He's wearing the Team USA jersey.
Yeah, right?
He's got like a cigarette hanging out and he goes, "This is America." And he's chugging a Miller Lite while playing Freebird.
It takes some talent.
It was good.
And smoking and
Yeah, oh, yeah.
playing. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it was awesome.
It was
Like if I was doing that, I feel like I'd swallow the cigarette.
yeah. it would-
Unfortunately.
nothing good would come of it.
By real quick on Guitar World's list of greatest guitar solos, Freebird is number 3 all time. It doesn't say what number 1 is. But
Really?
yeah, number 3.
Stairway to Heaven, maybe?
I don't know. Isn't it the song you put on when DJs back in the day want to go to the bathroom and take a smoke break?
Yeah.
They put that on.
Freebird or Stairway. Ask Dagwood from 1029 The Buzz. They
Nice.
had those for sure. But anyway, so USA defeats Canada 3-1 Saturday night. I heard Robbie talk about this morning. We've kind of talked about it. I was skeptical of this Four Nations tournament. I was like, I'm not going to care. Like, it's just, you're taking 2 weeks off. I mean, this replacing the All-Star game. They're trying to replicate the Olympics, like all this stuff. It's been awesome. I have really, really enjoyed it. You know, the first game, Canada, Sweden, goes to overtime. Like, I got into that. USA beats the breaks off Finland. That was fun. And then you had Finland and Sweden going to overtime Saturday during the day, and then Canada, USA, USA winning 3-1 Saturday night. It's just been a lot of fun. Coming up here in a little bit at noon, Canada takes on Finland. And then tonight, USA, Sweden play. And so, I mean, it's been exciting to watch. Now, you know, for Preds fans, UC Saros did get benched. Kevin Lankinen played for Finland the other night or the other day against Sweden. So that's not good. But for overall just watching this thing, it's been entertaining.
All right. Had we lost 6-1 and got our butt kicked, would you be saying differently about this?
No, because like I watched Canada Sweden the first game and I was like, okay, I'm kind of hooked.
Okay.
I'm into it now.
But the fact that we came, and I'd say we, because USA
Yeah, you can say we.
came out and just beat the snot out of them
In Montreal.
physically.
In Montreal.
3 fights in the first
Oh
9
yeah.
seconds.
I mean, it was something.
I love it.
And I mean, like, you have guys that are teammates, like in the NHL, but like when they're playing for their country,
I
it's
love
like
it.
no holds barred. Man.
I think it's great, man.
So I think it's pretty cool. And there's some clinching scenarios too. So the USA will be in the final based on what they've done.
Is it
to
double
this point.
elimination or you just earn?
It's all points based. It's
Okay.
a round robin.
All right.
So Canada will clinch a berth in the Four Nations final with a win over Finland in regulation, or if they get an overtime or shootout win against Finland and any result of the US-Sweden game other than a regulation win by Sweden.
Okay.
Finland will be in the final if it defeats Canada in regulation, or if it defeats Canada in overtime or a shootout, and any result of US-Sweden in other than a regulation win by Sweden. Sweden will clinch if it defeats the US in regulation and the Canada-Finland game is decided in overtime or a shootout. So those are the scenarios. I think we all want Canada again. I mean, I think US-Canada in the final.
So
Whatever.
when does USA play again?
Tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
Yep. So get it tonight. Everybody plays today. So you got a game coming up in a little over an hour. And then the US plays tonight.
All right.
So should be fun. I mean, it's definitely been cool to this point. I'd like to see, you know, I was talking to some people about this. Next year's the Olympics. Just have the All-Star game go away. I think when they do this again, they need to figure out 6 nations makes the most sense. You could do a Europe team with, Switzerland and Germany and stuff. I know you got to figure some other stuff out. I mean, there are some really good Russian players. And so, figure that part out. But I think six teams makes the most sense with the 4 you got now, and then some sort of Russian representation and then a European team that's kind of like the rest of Europe.
But so you're saying not put as many teams as possible.
No,
Just
I
put,
think
like-
6 is a good
Okay.
number. I mean, you can't do like the Olympics where you have, but like the biggest knock on this was, Leon Draisaitl, who's one of the best players in the world, isn't playing because Germany didn't have a team. Roman Yossi's not playing because Switzerland doesn't have a team. So you would have to figure out some sort of European team
Oh,
that
man.
could kind of be those guys,
Be a
and
loaded team.
and then like Ovechkin's not playing, because Russia doesn't have a team, and so there's just like Russia is a whole different subject right now. But I think from a hockey standpoint, like if you could figure that part out, it'd be pretty cool. Be even cooler than it already is.
That's your job for today.
My job?
Yeah, we'll add that to your 47 other things you do around
Yeah.
here.
I probably have meetings.
probably do that.
Probably have something. like
Teams
it.
meeting.
No. Chip from Mount Juliet said the WNBA wouldn't make it here. I disagree. I think it would. I mean, I think we're at I understand the skepticism, but like I actually think if you did it right, especially at Bridgestone Arena, and I know they're going to do it right, you have to understand, like, okay, let's make it kind of a stair-step plan of you're not going 17,000 for most games. Now, Caitlin Clark comes here, you probably would, but
Well, look, girls basketball is. You go down to MTSU, the Lady Raiders, they get 4,000 or 5,000 people a game. I mean, and
Mhm.
sometimes there's 9,000 or 10,000 there, so it's popular. I mean, it is really popular in that culture. I think it would do fantastic.
I
here.
think it'd be fine. I
And,
think it'd be fine.
because you don't like it, and that's the thing I said about soccer. I'm not a soccer guy, but if you love soccer, putting you down like soccer, is that to make me feel better?
No, but
I'm
how much of it?
Enjoy
See,
it.
I think you just made a really good point. A lot of people will be like, "Well, I don't like that." Well, do you not like it, or have you just never watched it, and so you think you don't like it?
But if you have, that's fine.
Yeah,
But don't diminish you if you
Yeah.
like watching that. I don't care.
like, look,
It makes you happy, man.
I am not like Johnny Soccer, but I enjoy going to the games. And now that I've kind of like watched like international tournaments, especially, like I see just the difference in the skill level between international or the EPL and then MLS, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it's still, soccer's not ever going to be number one for me, but I'm not going to knock it.
Nope.
Like, and so
All part of growing up, buddy.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's kind of like Brussels sprouts. I kind of grew up my entire life thinking I hated Brussels sprouts, and it's because I never really tried them. And then when I tried them, I realized that I liked them.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't fancy as a Brussels sprouts guy.
they're my favorite. They're probably my favorite vegetable now.
Put them
Okay.
in the oven with some olive oil.
Yeah, they're like little cabbages. That's what they are.
little cabbages.
Not
Nice.
bad. You're welcome. Coming up
Oh, man.
next, we'll tell you what day it is in celebrity birthdays. It's Chasing Big Joe presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. We'll be there tomorrow. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Nashville's best deal of the week is from Bavarian Beer House, located at Opry Mills Mall. You can enjoy traditional German beer, brats, giant pretzels, and more in their expansive beer hall and garden. Just head to thegamenashville.com/deals and get half off a $50 gift card while supplies last. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Also, Smashville Live coming up this week. Preds will be back in action Saturday, so you can check out Smashville Live at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs starting at 6 o'clock. You can see Predator star players up close and personal and also get autographs and pictures. We'll have those players for you a little later in the week, Wednesday night at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
Oh.
Presented by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. The only company you'll need for commercial construction services. Just visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Champion Crab Racing Day. So
What?
didn't know today's the day Champion Crab races. So yeah. You have a pet crab, Joe?
His name is Pinchy.
Not since college.
Okay. Next is My Way Day. So, you know,
Is that Frank Sinatra Day?
yeah, you
Oh,
can
okay.
look at it. That Frank Sinatra.
Frankie said I did it my way.
You know, Chase was mentioning baby cabbages. Today's National Cabbage Day.
I love cabbage.
Is it really?
Yeah, it says
It's
National
so
Cabbage.
weird when that happens.
Let me tell you what I've been doing with. So I get a head of cabbage and cut it into quarters. Brush it with a little butter.
There's no way you do this.
I do this.
Do you really?
Brush it with butter. Wrap a little bacon on it. Put it in aluminum foil and then put it on the grill on low temp for like 45 minutes. It
Wow.
is divine.
I'm in for that.
Proud of you, man.
Divine.
Next one we have here, hopefully my French is okay. National Cafe au Latte Day. I don't know.
Al Latte?
AU. It's its
You
own
went
word.
to you went to high school with him, didn't
I
you?
did. Al Latte's a good guy. He works at Mr. Transmission on Dickerson Pike.
Tell him I said hey.
Great guy.
Oh, next we have is National Indian Pudding Day.
What is that?
It, to be fair, Joe, it looks like applesauce with, it looks like an applesauce rice mixed with oatmeal.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe
All
it.
right.
Next one we have is National PTA Founders Day. Let's see. National Public Science Day. President's Day, obviously, is today. And let's see. Random Acts of Kindness Day.
Should be every day.
This one is Who Shall I Be Day. So, you know, you can
Be
pick-
yourself.
yeah.
There's only, God only made one of you.
And then last to wrap it up, World Human Spirits Day.
Well done. All right.
It is President's Day. And by the way, my mother's listening and she didn't like your joke.
About you cooking?
No, you're the one before that.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on. All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within two. Our first birthday is the great actress Renee Russo. How old is Renee Russo?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Renee Russo, I'm going to say 58.
55.
71.
Really?
Lou Diamond Phillips. La Bamba.
73.
77.
63. Guys are terrible. Director Michael Bay.
54.
65.
61. He did Armageddon too.
Did a lot of good movies.
Oh, Denise Richards. Charlie Sheen's ex-wife.
One of them.
Two words about her. Good loud.
50.
54.
54 exactly. Job, Dr. Crane.
We have a visitor. Hi, Harrison.
Billy
doing?
Joe Armstrong, the lead singer of Green Day.
53.
52.
53 exactly. We're
Bam.
tied at 2. Digging it. Jerry O'Connell, the actor.
Yeah. 54.
57.
51. Still tied at 2. John Ritter's son, Jason Ritter, who looks just like him.
37.
40.
45. Paris Hilton.
38.
39.
45. Robin Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Isn't he going to be Robin eventually,
I
like
don't
in the
know.
Black Knight? He was at the end.
Yeah, something like that. 40.
45.
44. Dr. Green's up 3-2. A lot of good birthdays today. Ed Sheeran.
36.
37.
34. Tied at 3. We'll roll through these real quick here. Actor Richard Karn from Home Improvement. Any the guy that his buddy Tool Time?
Yeah, that and also hosted Family Feud.
Yes.
64.
63.
69. Larry
Nice.
the Cable Guy.
56.
62.
62 exactly. Dr. Crane's up 5-3. Let's go some sports. Rowdy Gaines, the swimmer.
44.
48.
66. Guy McIntyre, guard for the 49ers, won a bunch of Super Bowls. Great player.
70.
77.
64. Our friend Buster Olney.
62.
64.
61. 5-4, Dr. Crane. Luke Robitaille.
60.
57.
59. So that's Chaser.
Yep.
5-5. David Klingler, former Houston Cougar quarterback that started the run and shoot there. Or took over for Andre Ware.
58.
62.
56. Chase up 6-5. I think Klingler was drafted by the Bengals. All right, our last birthday. How old is the great one? Michael Jordan. This is for the Chase. You get this, you win. Dr. Crane, you get it, you win. I love this. Michael Jordan.
63.
60.
61.
Oh, wow. Good job, Dr. Crane.
Thank you.
You win, right?
I think that's correct. That's how
Yeah.
math works.
But I got
Smart.
6-6.
I thought it was just 5-5.
I got Chase with 6. Chase hit that
It
nail
was
on the
6
head.
to 5.
6-5. So it's 6-6. One more for tiebreaker. Country singer Brian White. Nashville name. Oh, he
Oh.
lives in Nashville. Brian White.
I'm gonna say 57.
53.
51. Dr. Crane wins 7-6.
Nice.
Good job.
Nice. There you go. Presented by Jarrett Companies Inc. Above and beyond industry standards. JarrettCompaniesInc.com.
Hey, as always, to our guys out there, if you are struggling, going through anything, and it's kind of a rough road for you on your cell phone, you could call or text 988. Please talk to somebody, someone, whatever you're going through, because you are tremendously loved. And if something happened to you, you'd be tremendously missed. That's why we tell you how much we love you every single day, and we mean it. You need to reach out to us. We're always here for you. We're grateful for the men who've reached out for us. Remember, we love you. More importantly, more than anything else, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next. 1025, 1063, The Game.